Hi there folks, racing's almost back. We're almost back, or we are back.
We are,
socially distanced, I might add, but we are joined by Jamie again. We're going to bring you our ones to watch for the forthcoming season. We both picked a couple of the champion each, and then we'll have a little chat as well, a few others maybe that we might like. Obviously Chepstow is not far away.
Yep.
Had a little look last night. Looks like there's a lot of rain forecast that week. I've got down on my notes here, they were expecting 15 mil of rain on the Wednesday, 16 overnight on the Thursday, and then heavy rain on the Friday, continuing through to the end of the...
So it's national run weather.
So it's proper national run
It's what we
weather.
want. I'm happy to see that symbol of rain.
Absolutely. All right, well, okay, let's get on. We've all been here a while and whatnot, setting up and everything. A few technical problems, but we're there. Okay, so my first one I'm going to champion, boys, is Queen of Hearts, trained by Stuart Edmonds. It was one that was around sort of last year. She only had a couple of runs, very lightly raced for a 7-year-old. She's had 3 on the national run flat and 4 over the hurdles, 2 wins out of each. Debuted in 2017. Kieran Geffins has ridden every time, so she hasn't, been part of anybody else. Didn't look particularly spectacular in her Class 6 when she opened her account on a debut. She picked up 2 wins at Tocester and Sandown, beating Posh Trish, one of them, which was a good horse that a few people sort of liked. Posh Trish was 3rd that day. That was over 2 mile on soft. Then on a first attempt over the hurdles, that was at Chepstow on soft. She comes 2nd to Trevor Hemmings, who I know you like their colours, or his colours, of that Des Obeaux or Des Obeaux or something like which again was another one people sort of talked about. And she was bang there right up to the last, and she just wasn't fluent over the last. Simple as that. If she'd been fluent over the last, every chance of winning that race, and unfortunately she didn't. But then she went on to win the next 2 in 2018 at Haydock, heavy again, so it does seem to favour the heavier conditions or the softer conditions. Won again at Sandown, same sort of distance, slightly up in trip, 2 mile 3, 2 mile 4 this time. Beat another Paul Nicholls horse, Downside, which is again another silk where people expected, to be an half decent all sort of thing. So. The only real blot on her coffee book, shall I say, is she ran at the festival in the Dawn Run. Finished 10th that day. Right. But, as I've written down on my notes here, we all know that Cheltenham can find the best horses out.
Make or break them, as we said before.
You could argue that maybe it was the larger field. Possibly. The others were smaller fields. But that day, she was only a neck, I think, behind Epitome that day.
Oh really?
And look what Epitome's gone on to do. So she's still got a lot to learn, I think. And she's, like I say, quite lightly raced for a 7-year-old. But I just think there's a decent bit of promise there.
Do you reckon that her jumping's going to let her down? Is that from that point of view? Are you saying that because the races that she seems to have lost that you've mentioned, it's always, not clouded the last, but she's found trouble over the last.
At Cheltenham she wandered a bit and stuff like that, you know what I mean? And so, who knows? Maybe it's something she can learn, maybe it's something she can brush up on. As I say, it's a difficult one to judge because she's quite lightly raced. So, how much she hasn't had a lot of experience to learn from. That's the way I'm looking at the moment. I could be wrong, but.
She may be making a name for herself. She might go over fences.
Possibly.
Which I've read. She could go over novice chasing this season.
Seems to sharpen up.
So hopefully she might go towards heading towards the Mayor's Chase in Cheltenham. On some few other big races like Doncaster and all that over, Lady Buttons run and all that. So she can either be versatile going over hurdles, but I've got a funny feeling what I've read. She might be starting over fences first.
Over the big ones.
So from there. But then she could always reverse back into hurdles. Because Lady Buttons could either go over fences and then go over hurdles. So
Well, I'm sure Nick will let us know on Twitter because he's quite vocal, Nick.
Yeah.
And he never shies away from a question. If you ask him any about the horses, he never, he's not sort of close to it, but he's quite openly, says, oh yeah, this is what we're going to try and do, or this is what we're open to do. So I'm sure we'll be able to find out from him. Which I did think that the other day. I thought I might have to push him on that.
Lovely.
So that's my first choice. My second choice, which again I sort of hoping for a good season. This one's, you should find it a bit hard to pick bones out of it because he's only had a couple of runs.
Yeah.
And that's Purple Mountain, trained by Willie Mullins, in those sort of what do you call it, sort of green and sort of pinkish, aren't they, kind of colours, the old sort of half colours I think they are. Again, only 5th on debut on the National Hunt Flat. I didn't, at Punchestown over 2 mile 2. Again, didn't really set the world on fire, but sort of obviously had some more training with Willie, and he seems to have got a bit more out of him. And won the next 2 at Killarney and Gowan or Gowran, however you pronounce it. Yeah.
Gowan.
Over the 2 mile again. So seems to be that they're aiming around that trip at the moment. Most interesting though is a man or 2 men that enjoy the flat a bit more than us 2 do. She was sired by a Beat the Hollow that ran in Enable's colours.
Oh yeah.
Or
likes a bit of digging the ground.
Abdullah's colours, should I say?
Yeah.
And won 6 of 11 over sort of a flat trip, one for a better word, the 1 mile, just over the 1 mile mark. But was gives some heart to think that might turn into a decent horse. And then the dam was Blue Mountain Beach, which was owned by the Supreme Racing, which owned Kenboy. Obviously, ended in the cloud somewhat. But anyway, that's not really what we're here to discuss. But and she only ran 3 times, but early promise. As I say, it's a bit hard for you to pick bones in that one because not really for your lot to to sort of go on. But just one of them ones where it could be worth a punt. Looks like it might have some ability. Let's hope it can take to the
Ground conditions, good or
soft, good to yield in its. They've run on, so that softer side. Rather than the firmer side. So if you see it running on soft, it might be worth a little go. It all really depends on when they're young like that, whether they can sort of take to the fences and that. So we'll see. So that's my 2. As I say, unfortunately, I can't give you a lot to have a go on there. You know what I mean? So apparently, just to add on my notes, she did run. Oh no, hang on. Sorry, apologies. No, forget that. I've got my notes in the wrong order. So go on then, Sean. Give us yours.
Right, I'm going to revert back to old tricks for me. For a couple of years now, I've stayed clear when we do these of Willie Mullins. I'm probably one of his biggest fans. I love the horses. I love the way his horses are trained. So I'm going to revert back to him. I'm going to go with Monkfish.
Yeah.
Now, for me, last year probably won the most exciting finish other than champs last year in the Albert Bartlett.
Yeah.
You had Tyne Hill, who our champion last year, finished in 4th. So that was frustrating. But I had Tyne, and obviously behind Monkfish on there, who come over the last 3rd behind Latest Expedition and Fury Road for Gigginstown. Somehow managed to squeeze his neck through. Seems a real gritty horse. Reminds me of the Champagne Fever type running of a Mullins horse, where you don't see a lot of his going off in front and like to control the pace nowadays since Champagne Fever. Monkfish tends to do that. The only issue I had with his jumping seems to get a little bit mid-race lazy over the hurdles. The first 1.5 miles of that Albert Bartlett, he was just jumping them into submission. Seemed to get maybe too comfortable, switch off maybe a little bit.
Or even hit a flat spot.
And round the back straight, knocked a couple. Again, clearly didn't dent the confidence of the horse because still manages, it's a gritty horse, fighter of a horse, which is what I like to find in a horse, which was Champagne Fever. Champagne Fever was those sort of horses where even when it comes to the last, they're not beat going over the last, even though they put in a poor jump, they'll work for it. If I'm honest, it looks like all 4 of those in the finishing of the Albert Bartlett will go over the larger obstacles, which therefore then means it's probably RSA chase bound, which
you normally see all them fall from Margaret Bar go over 15.
That's it, which for me, as much, I mean, Envoy Allen will probably go that route as well.
Yeah.
Because of the trip, the course, that's where Envoy Allen will more than likely go. So there is a concern on Monkfish's part, because let's be honest with you, like you touched on, Envoy Allen is, or could be, a different breed of a horse. It is.
Yeah.
It is something special.
Yeah, he's put a few bad races in,
and
also with like Monkfish as well. So depending on his jumping as well.
They will go against each other a couple of times. Yeah. Again, what I would see from the plus side of Monkfish is if the chase prep doesn't go according to plan, because you know what they're like, they'll live in Ireland for the next couple of months, as in race wise. They won't travel. They'll stay your Leopard's Towns, places like that. So if it doesn't go great, and they want to revert back to the hurdling side of things, that's the sort of horse that could do that.
Yeah.
And with his ability to stay the trip and see out the 3 mile, you can push him to the stayers.
Yeah.
You could always go that stayers route if needs be, because let's be honest with you, we've already seen that Paisley Park is there for beating. Didn't have a great year last year. As much as I know everybody loves the horse, we now don't know. Mark does massively. We don't know how Paisley's going to return this year. I mean, it's going to be difficult, because as we, from a standpoint, the way the whole world is at the moment, we don't know what race meets are going to go where. So we can't plot their journeys. So this is all conjecture at the moment, because we don't know where they're heading for.
And we've already seen with the flats as well, where like we spoke about previously, about some of the trainers, some of the horses have not had the correct approach to some of these horses. There's been a lot of races that have had limited numbers, so there's been a question mark of like a trainers just chucking horses in just to make the numbers up, so they're not fully prepared.
I would say that I think the National Hunt season has the advantage. They've had time on their side, whereas the flat season hasn't. So hopefully we're wrong. Hopefully they've had plenty of time to prepare and get ready.
I've always been a massive fan of the flats, obviously, as you know, and you know, I still am a fan of the flats. I've more learned by going to my first Cheltenham Festival back in March on the Tuesday. Completely changed my opinion of National Hunt racing. Not that I never liked it, but I've grown so much more into it, and the preparations for National Hunt racing is on another level to me compared to the flats. And I think that they will, with the meets that we got coming up, the Cheltenham Festival next year, we just don't know what the restrictions and what the government guidelines are going to be.
Exactly. So from that point of view, like I say, I would assume the plan for Monkfish is to go over the larger, depending on the times between races, how the races are going to unfold. I hope that remains, because I do believe that if there is a chink in Envoy Allen's armour again, like you were saying, that there is you know, there is holes in that and you can get at it. If that is the case, I do believe with Monkfish's ability to stay the distance, and as long as that doesn't hit the flat spot, then Monkfish will quite comfortably put it to Envoy Allen. I'm not saying beat, because if the Envoy Allen turns up that we expect, then
you're going to get some good races between them too.
Exactly. Over in Ireland, they will put it to each other up until Christmas. Depending on how it goes for Monkfish, reverting back to hurdles is an option.
Well, that's what you want, isn't it? You don't want to. You don't want to outright win all the time. You want competition, you want battles, you want clashes, didn't you?
For the RSA, Monkfish at 10s. Okay, I know no one's going to do so many anti-bases at the moment, but it's still a decent price if we stick to that. But like you say, there is always an option.
Monkfish, as you say, is like, as we say about Envoy Allen, how it won impressively at Cheltenham this year. It will take that next step up, and Monkfish is definitely a horse that we'll see if we can get the best out of Envoy Allen. You know, so you're not saying it's going to win, but
he could go.
Give him something to think about.
There's so many different aspects. You can be like, you know, Monkfish is there to be like, well, okay, I'm here to win this race. You know, there's no guarantees that it's going to win. But then for Envoy Allen's side of things, it'd be like, I've now got some real competition.
Well, exactly. You know, at the end of the day, you know, I mean, they're animals, aren't they? Do you know what I mean? And sometimes they need, you know, some of them need like competition to bring the best out of them, just like sportsmen do, you know.
Well, we saw Champ. Sorry, not Champ. We saw Goshen this year at the festival. You know, Apps was absolutely romping home. We all know that freak accidents can happen in races. And obviously, we saw Goshen's recent run. You know, it wasn't
very tepid.
You know, it wasn't impressive at all. You know, there was obviously a lot of negative criticism about the race. The horse wasn't ready. Why did it run? This and that, blah blah blah. But you know, as what you say, they're animals. It's what racing is all about. That they win some and lose some.
Yeah, of course they do.
And that's fully what I'm expecting from that point of view. But I do believe if there's anyone there to take advantage, if not just beat outright. Monkfish for me, I will be the whole way.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely.
Right, second of all, I've gone Millie of Mayo
Oh, okay.
for the Nicky Richards yard.
Yeah.
Now, I've got to be honest, it's not a yard that I look at confidently sometimes, and that's not a dig. It's, you know, when you look at certain races, and my eyes just not drawn to them, shall we say?
I'll back a few, to be fair.
Yeah, because I believe that's what one of yours is, isn't it? In the Nicky Richards yard. So,
Yes.
Queen of Hearts, isn't that?
No,
that's Stuart
Evans.
Evans.
Right, there we go. Right, so again, it's a top yard. It's just not one of my eyes drawn to a lot, if the truth be told. But it's Millie and Mayo 3 for 3 this year. Fantastic turn of foot. I mean, I hold my hands up. She ran yesterday and come 5th.
Yeah.
In a large field at, what was it, Fontwell or Hexham? Hexham
and Vaughan, obviously. But
it was Hexham
I
she ran at. It was Hexham she ran at. The first in at Hexham. She came into a lot of traffic. Now her jumping is sketchy a lot of the way through the racing. The good thing with her is between fences is where she makes up. She gets back on the bit quite comfortably. She's got to turn a foot over the last when she can get the space.
We backed her a couple of times, didn't we, recently? To be fair, I backed her the other day as well, but I was busy with work, I couldn't watch it.
She's got fantastic turn of foot, and for a great yard, for a great trainer, like we were saying. Quite inexperienced still. Prefers the good ground, if truth be told. So, depending on how, like you were mentioning with the weather of the forthcoming weeks, might put her in a box for a couple of weeks, couple of months, and see what the new year brings when the weather changes. I hope to get a couple more runs, or they get a couple more runs out of her over the next couple of weeks, because that 5th yesterday doesn't represent what she's capable of.
Right.
Do you see what I mean? She is a great jumper. Okay, there's the odd sketchy jump. She's quite young. There is a lot of, I mean, I think her bloodline goes back to Nijinsky.
Right, okay.
So, you know, I mean, it goes quite far back, we're saying, but there is that capability where there's a turn of foot in her that can put races to bed if she's close enough to the pace, which over the last couple of races she had been prior to yesterday where she finished 5th, but it's one of those, I believe that she'll come on for that 5th, definitely. There's not a lot to read into her at the moment, like I say, there's not been many races, there's not a lot about her, but she's definitely a standout at the moment, one that I've put in the tracker.
Yeah.
Excellent. Fair dues. Okay, we'll move on to Mark then. Go on then, Mark. Let's have your couple.
All right, here we go. Well, first one I've gone for Nigel Twiston-Davies, Mossy Fen. Progressed well over hurdles, winning 3 from 5, including a 500 Grade 2 contest at Warwick back in January, which earned itself an entry into the Ballymore Novices Hurdle at Cheltenham, and going back to Sean reiterating about Envoy Allen, which absolutely romped home and that very impressively. But didn't disappoint. What I said about my first experience at Cheltenham, you know, it makes or breaks horses, going back to what you said. You know, seeing the Cheltenham Hill for the first time was very daunting. Start price at 33 to 1 and finished 5th of 12 runners, which I think wasn't a bad performance in my eyes.
That's very good.
That's not bad, no.
And this is a 5-year-old horse which I think has got plenty of time on its hands. I believe a switch to the larger obstacles would suit this horse. I say it's a very patient horse, and 2.5 miles is the minimum that I think this horse is very capable of. It's already won over 2 miles 7. Good horse that runs well on soft ground. That's what was already iterated, talking about the ground conditions.
Makes a difference.
Like I said, me and National Hunt Racing, you know, I've always been a massive fan of the flats, as we know, so I've got more into this type of racing, and I think it's got great potential to potentially push on. There's a lot of horses that perform well to then run at Cheltenham to then not perform, and now it's like, right, where's the horse going to go from there? My belief, if it's switching to larger obstacles, is there any doubts on that, do you think?
It will give him a lot of confidence.
Yeah.
The only thing is though, you've got that certain time of a certain month period where you've got novice status.
Yeah.
So he'll go over. He will go over there. So you could see him. What was it? Not the RSA. There's another one. I can't remember.
Well, festival.
Yeah, the festival. You've got RSA and you've got Ryanair. Ryanair and everything. So you've got, like, you know, you've got options for him. But the only thing is though, Cheltenham is not the old. end all or festivals.
Oh no, definitely.
So you could you could run in like with the you know, with Aintree, with a Melon Chase or anything like that. Well, that could be from older horses.
I always find give horses a chance on it. You know, switch them to larger obstacles. See how it
and they can also
out.
revert back over hurdles. I mean, trainers don't, you know,
they'll look for the best option, wouldn't they?
Oh yeah, if you can see if the horse is really progressing over fences, leave him there. Yeah. It's like the same thing with Big Bucks. He went over fences, fell, and then Paul just went Paul Nichols went right. I'll put him back, go over hurdles, and see what he done over stayers. So yeah, Nigel Tristan Davis is a very good trainer.
Yeah, definitely.
He's a good trainer.
Yeah, he's definitely
especially with like Bristol Demai and all that. So
he's definitely a trainer that I obviously always keep a close eye on. Horses when they're running, you know, see how they perform. That's my first one. My second one, I've gone in the Colin Tizard camp now. So I've gone for Copperhead.
Okay.
Again, another one that progressed well over fences, winning 3 from 5. It was at a mark of 125. Ended the campaign rated as one amongst the best staying novices, official rating of 153, which gave him an entry into the RSA chase at Cheltenham.
Yeah, I backed him.
I'm sure you'll be very upset.
No, I did that at the
time.
Yeah,
because obviously it underperformed in that one.
Yeah, he did. Yeah,
well behind, fell at the last. I think it was just trying to pull that horse a bit too much and just didn't have that much more in it. But going back from the Cheltenham, it won impressively at Ascot in a Grade 2, I believe it was the Raymondstown Chase back in February, was won by a massive margin of up to 17 lengths. At the moment, it's an interesting contender. It's been entered into the Ladbrokes Trophy in November, and you can get a best price at 16 to 1. Again, Colin Tizard is another one that I find. Jamie, I know you love a huge price.
I do sometimes.
You know, like if it was, I'm sure if it was like 30,
33s, I wouldn't mind it or 25s. That was good for me.
Again, you know, I like to keep it. You know, it stays well. Soft underfoot conditions is another one as well. You know, we're going into the winter months now. There's going to be a lot of like heavy grounds coming up with some of the race meets. So it's a 6-year-old. I think it's got a few more years, got a bit more time on its hands to see how it performs. And yeah, I think, you know.
Do you know my only issue, right, with Copperhead is I would bracket Copperhead in the same sort of, not racing style, but the same sort of bracket as Santini. Now I know this is going to upset a lot of people because there are so many people that rate Santini. I just don't get the appeal myself. Right now, it doesn't matter what people say. Yes, Santini was second in the Gold Cup last year. Was it not to Albon? Was it second?
Yeah, second.
And was pushing. So I don't, and I for weeks and months leading up to that said he's not got a hope. Didn't prove me wrong because it didn't win. Doesn't matter what way you look at it.
Yeah, there's only one winner.
Ran a good race. I know it's going to upset a lot of people, right? And it ran a great race. Cannot knock that. It was a fantastic run and almost foot perfect jumping. But unfortunately didn't win the race.
Well,
so I wasn't proved wrong.
At the end of the day, the record books don't remember who comes second and third.
Santini, no, exactly. So put Santini in what you'd call the glorified races, your Group 1s that you want, you know, your Gold Cup. Never gets there. Or very rarely gets there, so consistent. And I believe, from my point of view, it's the same with Copperhead, that will win the Group 2s and win them well. But that extra step up, because who was it, Aloha, Champ and whoever else, was going away from them at the last in that race. So whether Copperhead stayed on its feet or not is irrelevant. He's never getting close. Because they won it by, well, those three were 15, 20 legs clear of the rest of the field.
The only thing is though, you don't want a horse going if he would have won, if he could have won this,
that's
if
what I'm saying.
and I hate that.
That's
because
exactly
it's like,
it.
Really?
That's exactly it, and that's what people will say about Santini. You know, you go round and go, oh yeah, but if irrelevant, the record books will say, come second,
but
didn't win.
I love the name of a horse called If.
What if?
What if? But the only thing, I think Santini will win big at races, but the only thing, he was still young. Ish.
Again, same with Copperhead, 6-year-old. So there's plenty of scope for that to progress. But from what I watched last year, like I say, 3 from 5, and if you look at those
what you want to see is a bit more in it.
And those two that didn't win were probably your high priority races almost. You know what they aim for. So dropping back wins well, and I cannot argue the same with Santini. You drop it into not necessarily lower grade, but you know your 5-6 runners where there's still decent fields, but you're not putting in the Irish constituency.
No, because they're going to start. They're going to start going. I'm not going to go with it. I'm not going to race against him because I'm going to go over there.
Exactly. So they cherry pick those little races where they know they're going to win, and then that weekend everyone gets on Twitter and goes, "Oh my God, how great was Santini?" It was okay when it beat Bristol de May at Champions. Trials Day. Cannot argue that. But it almost looked like Bristol and May went round every one of those fences and went, "I'm going to hit every single one." It almost looked perfect on a few of them. I'm not arguing that, but Santini didn't exactly beat in prime.
He's not
Bristol. Do you see what I mean?
He's not wonderful. He's not wonderful. It's like Altior where he goes, he could jump. But the only thing with Santini, he's a workmanlike horse.
And it proved that in the Gold Cup as well, because he did have to work to get to second. And I won't argue that was a fantastic run, and in many respects did prove what I was thinking wrong. That I didn't think it had the staying capabilities. It would get engulfed in the quality that was in the Gold Cup. It didn't in the end. It beat a lot of it. Ultimately, didn't win the race. Wasn't a Gold Cup winner. And Copperhead, I could be wrong. I hope I am, because I like that yard. Will it be one of those that you're looking at glorifying for the season? No.
Or he just turns a corner. And then he starts winning a few good races. And then you could go in on a big race.
So I feel like Copperhead's disappeared. If I change it to Santini, we'd have a bit more of a debate.
I can promise you now, I would still think the same about Santini, but I'll leave that because that's gonna get some heat anyway, because I know what people think of Santini. But it's an opinion. I mean, don't get me wrong, we do this a lot, and we're on Twitter a lot, and we know everybody's an expert.
Right,
and I get that. I'm not having a pop at anyone. You're all right, but do you see what I mean? From my opinion,
everyone's got an opinion.
And that's what I love about jumps racing.
It's opinion.
If we're talking about Santini, it was just, like you see when it went off for, I believe it was 3-1, I believe.
Something like that.
Gold Cup, but his performances beforehand didn't warrant.
No, I'm not convinced.
Did not warrant that starting price, and
could be proved wrong.
Probably going to be people who are going to absolutely ridicule me for what I've just said. But I believe if a horse jumps well and it gets entered into a top race at a certain price, it deserves to be that price because of its jumping, because of its performance beforehand. But to me, I didn't understand how it got entered into the Gold Cup at such a short price, and its performances and its jumping beforehand wasn't to the class.
Didn't warrant that entry.
No. It's not me saying it's a bad horse. Like Copperhead, you're out the window. So
before we move on, can I ask, has anyone picked Santini for a One2Watch?
No.
Right,
okay.
We'll go over to James then, that's fine. So we don't ridicule that any further. It's a lovely horse, but we'll move on. We'll do that all day. Go on,
alright, okay. My first one is traded by David Pipe, and the horse is called Israel Champ. Two-time winner on listed bumpers. Was in the champion bumper, finished really disappointing. Down the field, about 10th, I think. Should be going over hurdles now. Novice company, but also should be going up in trip. So he should go for 2 mile 2, and then hopefully we'll start building up gradually. Hopefully, David Pipe normally does really well with his hurdles. He's done quite well with Cheltenham winners.
You picked that one out last seat.
Yes,
not picked it out, but you just added it.
I had it last year, the One2Watch as in for the Cheltenham, Cheltenham selections.
Oh, that was it, Cheltenham
selections.
we sat there and we never had
where I had a look, and then I backed him.
Well, fair play, sticking to your guns, fair play.
I thought, no, I'm going to go for that because he did really well with, ran really well Ascot, because it was soft conditions. So he should do really well, and I think he'll do quite well on the hurdle situation on that one because he's going on novice. So I've selected my second one, which is another bumper because he's going to go over hurdles. That's with Willie Mullins, called Appreciated, finished second in the champion bumper. He'll definitely go novice hurdling, and he'll be staying in Ireland, so he'll be really competitive racing and all that. So he'll be toughening himself up for the races to go into England. So I reckon he'll start running at 2 mile 4. I reckon, instead of 2 mile 2.
Do you reckon we don't appreciate it, seeing as though it's a Mullins?
Yeah.
So it's obviously it'll obviously go in as this. Do you reckon the Supreme...
Hang on, is he going to say a bad word about Mullins?
No. I would know. I'm just trying to get in there early because this person, Willie Mullins when it comes to a Supreme.
You could actually
see that.
You could see you could see that definitely, and also you could see Israel Champ getting into the Supreme.
That's what I'm
because
thinking.
I'm just
on those bumper runs, they'll
runs.
tend to swing back round as
Oh
opposed
yeah,
to running the
definitely.
last. They'll go for that Supreme. And we know what Mullins is like.
Oh
We've
yeah,
proved it before.
definitely. So he's done it with Alfred Photo and a few others when he
so that was
And if you hadn't noticed, he's actually a lover of Willie Mullins.
I love it, mate.
So
I think everybody should know that by now.
Oh, yeah.
But I've definitely, he would definitely go for the Supreme,
Yeah.
and then see what happens after that. And then he could do really like going over fences, but you never know with Willie Mullins, especially with Appreciate It as well, because there's plenty of good races like Tipperary, Fairy House, Gorham Park with all their big races and all that, so you can target for them. So you're getting ready for the Supreme. So and that's those are the two I picked out for the two bumpers really that stood out really.
Do you think preparations for next year's festival will be
as in what
difficult, different compared to the current situation?
Yeah, it will be different.
Plotting of the races for the trainers is going to be difficult, isn't it?
Exactly. And also the atmosphere will be different.
Yeah.
Because also the horses will not be buzzing, as in they're going to go absolutely mental. They're going to go they're going to be sweating in the paddock and everything. So they're going to be nice and calm. Just like with the flat, because you had a couple of horses that you knew they'll go like a little bit buzzing, a bit too hot, because there wasn't no crowds, and they just sort of eased and calmed. But then all of a sudden now you see some of the trainers have the blinkers or the hood and the beginning for the red hood, so they don't want to get a little bit too spooked, and then they run it, and then they take the hood off before they race. So you might see a few trainers on the National Hunt doing that, but some of the National Hunt horses are very calm, a bit calmer than the flat ones.
Yeah, they're not so highly strung, are
they?
They're
not on their toes or anything like that.
I think it's proven in the flat section. There's been some really
you could tell
strange results.
Well, you could tell that some of the flat horses are not on their toes a lot, because because you normally hear a lot of it on the crowds. So, and then all of a sudden they go, he's shot himself, that's it. He's all of a sudden you see the price drifting like a barge. But other than that,
it's going to be different. There's no doubt about it.
It will be different,
like you say, because
it's just too different.
Some horses probably even perform better fired up. You know what I mean? Because they're more on it. You know what I mean? And things like that. You know,
you get like human beings. I almost probably like a bit of a bit of audience.
Yeah.
And then some people don't like it.
Yeah,
they
exactly.
Like it's just like horses and humans are mammals.
I think when you're watching racing live as well, you don't actually get like the full when you watch it, you've got the commentary, you've got I think as they do with most sports now, you get like some sort of a background noise. But to be an owner and to be there, it's like it's silent, quiet. Like, you can pretty much hear everyone's.
You can hear all the stable lasses and lads like screaming.
Have you been to any races as an owner since this has all been going on?
I've been once. That was at Ayr, and that was a little bit different. It was strange because it was nice for me to go there. It was the first time. I saw like all the owners from Midland Park and who I'm involved with. It was nice to see them, but it just wasn't. It wasn't the right. It wasn't an actual racing event.
Yeah, didn't
feel right.
Yeah,
because it was all quiet. I think I was the only one chatting, as in when I got a winner, and then it was just like ridiculous. It was quite strange. I mean, Midland had 2 winners on that day, and we went absolutely mental, obviously. But there were owners, but there weren't enough owners.
Yeah.
The more owners was our syndicate.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting over the next couple of weeks.
It's going to be strange. It's going to be strange on the National Hunt front, I think.
Yeah.
I think some of the National Hunt trainers is going to hit them for 6. I think some of them.
Yeah.
There's a few National Hunt racing today, like in Fontwell or anything. So they're gonna experience that, and then some of the trainers are going to stay at home. They're not going to come, which is disappointing.
It's very hard because I think with current rules and regs at the moment, it's like to be an owner. I mean, I believe I've been told that you can turn up like 30 minutes before your horse is set to race, and then not long after the race is finished, you've then got to leave. So it's not like as an owner you can go and enjoy the day.
Yeah, I know.
as a spectator, myself being an owner and a spectator, it's frustrating. Yeah, I can sit there and watch ITV racing, put the racing channel on all day long. I can probably lose my football bets and lose multiple horse racing bets all day, you know. But to be like, all right, come then, let's jump in the car and let's go to, let's go to Wincanton or somewhere like that, you know, have a day at the racing. But as an owner, you don't get the enjoyment of it.
No.
Like I say, fingers crossed on that front that
of course,
you know, we make leaps and bounds.
I always say onwards and upwards, and you know, there's always light at the end of every tunnel. As I always say, I believe one day it won't be at the moment, but sooner or later it's going to be back to some sort of normality. It's the new norm, as we all know, you know. And eventually we'll all be back and we'll all be cheering and hearing the children roar at the 1:30 and the
well, if my horse runs in October or November, even if I can only go for 10 minutes, I'm still going.
You're still going.
Just to, you know, to experience it the first time as an owner, to be there to watch her run. So.
Definitely.
Future Grand National winner, by the way. Or Gold Cup winner, maybe. Groovy Kind, you heard it here first.
We're talking about it, Grand National refers to that picture behind. Obviously, you know, got cancelled this year.
Let's hope we don't.
We had a virtual Grand National, so hoping that if it does go ahead, wouldn't be the same. But if it was to be behind closed doors, I think just to get the race going.
I mean, you know, nobody wants behind closed doors racing, but I'd rather have that than nothing. You know, so
exactly.
100%.
All right. Well, as you said, we said we'd maybe have a few more. You might want to just give a quick shout to, rather than not maybe as in depth, but I don't know if that's possible with us a lot. But anyway, let's go reverse order then. So, Jamie, you got anyone else you want to sort of give a little mention to?
Yeah, I've got two going over fences. One is Warren Greatrex, Epiton.
Oh, yeah.
Really impressive over hurdles, 3 miles plus last season. Finished 4th in the Stayers, which was really good. And that will really help him out. Now he's going to go jumping over the bigger obstacles. Hopefully he'll be like going over hopefully something really big for Cheltenham. He won to watch. He's definitely one for the watch through the season. He really was impressive over hurdles.
Who was that one that I shared on WhatsApp the other day? Was that the same owner as Reputant, or was that the Bargoaz owners? Oh, it was the Bargoaz owners. So just obviously mentioned Greatrex, the same stable and that, and they bought a really nice looking lad, didn't they? Yeah. But anyway,
but he'll look really impressive for going over fences. The same again. If it doesn't work out, he can always bring him back over hurdles and go over 3 miles and run again over the Stayers. So that's one now. And then the other one is the one I'm involved with, and it's Oleg. Everybody loves a grey.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
So he's done great coming over France. He's trying. He's acclimatised now, so which is good. He won really well over hurdles. Beat Donald McCain's first race over Kelso. That didn't really work out over Kempton. Not sure why. It could be the acclimatised. So what they've done, they really put him back to square one and started to get his confidence back, sorting himself out, which they all did, which is fantastic from Paul and all that. And then they reverted him, get his confidence back, revert him back to the flat, and then they done really well exploiting his mark on the flat. Won really well with Mick and Nichols on Southwell. Won really well, and then again had a bit of stuff up his sleeve and done really well over Pontefract. Unfortunately, did finish 6th in a big race at Goodwood in the flat, but now he's gone back to National Hunt now, and he'll be over fences. Did really well over Perth. I thought he was going to win Perth. He was a 2 mile. It was a 2 mile 4, class 3, and he was jumping for fun. And then for some reason, Oleg's decided, I'm going to jump really big on this. It was an open ditch, and even Harry just went, I don't know what actually happened. He decided, and I didn't really. And he's hit the third fence, and he sprawled, and unfortunately he fell and he got hit by another horse and that. But he was fine. But now he's come back. He's back over schooling, done really well. He's got his confidence back. He had a little bit of a superficial cut. They've patched him up. But now he's jumping really well now. Now they know that he can go 2 miles 2 to 2 mile 4 and go up to class 2 races now. So there's options galore for him. So I think he'll be out soon in the next couple of weeks. So yeah, so those are the two, Epi Tom and Oleg for me over the fences.
I've just gone for the one, and Fiddler on the Roof, which I think I've mentioned a couple of times. Again, goes back to Cheltenham. It's being now very disappointing, finishing 11th for 12 runners in the Supreme Novices to Shishkin, which I believe you had a winner there, Sean. Running up and down with absolute craziness. Its best perform before the festival came in a Grade 1 Tolworth hurdle when giving the useful Jeremy Flame £7. I gave him a 6-length beating. Now, I've had some good bets and some good wins on this horse last year, especially over the testing conditions. Very impressive wins at Sandown and at Ascot. Stays 2.5 miles. Again, so that's another one. Switch the fences. I think could be the best option. I would love to see this horse upped in trip as well. I think it's got the capability to do so. The only concern is that its official rating of 152, and as we reiterated earlier, don't think it's got the capability to be up there and challenge the big boys at this moment. I may be wrong, you know, as I said about Copperhead, what you said, it's just not there at the moment.
But room for improvement.
That's I think it's got room for improvement. You know, I said it was performing so well, and again, what we say, it performed badly at Cheltenham. I wouldn't say badly, but I think badly is a wrong word to use. But
underperformed.
Yeah.
That's the word.
Willie Mullins had a story in Folong, which I put down.
Oh yeah, I remember now. Yeah.
I think 3rd or 4th, I believe that finished. I think that was a very competitive opening first race. I would like to see it up to trip. I think it's definitely got capabilities of that one. As Jamie would say, that is my Brucey bonus.
I've got quite a few Brucey bonuses afterwards.
I'm sure we could go on.
You can't have them all.
No!
So we'll get them written up on the old site.
We'll get everything up on the website.
Like we said, we could be here for days.
Yeah, absolutely.
Definitely.
Right, I've got two, because one that I've not got any notes on with that. Shishkin is the one for me. I mean, I thought that before. I believe that horse will come on great bounds from the Supreme. Again, no idea where they're plotting. But to be honest with you, I was one of those that was absolutely ridiculing Nico halfway round, because that horse looked beat. Comfortably looked beat.
There was two,
it went out 100 to 1 in the running, because it was like we were saying when we were watching we were there, and I'm saying to you, well, that's almost tearing up the slip. Because that's how bad it was, and then to come from nowhere and to win well.
If there was two performances from the entire festival that I thought absolutely stood out for me, one was Champ because it looked beaten, and from being there, one was Shishkin. Because I believed at one point I did not think that Shishkin was going to actually win the
Names
race.
were being called.
Language was blue.
Language was blue.
From the space of 15 seconds being absolutely down in the dumps to having Sean running about with absolute galore, where I believe, I couldn't remember the name of the horse that he picked on the line.
Abracadabras,
that was it.
But it was last.
Well, it was the same with Champ, wasn't it? Champ was what, in third, not looking like you're getting there.
I don't want to say that I picked those two out.
I had Champ on the day, and I'm sitting at home with family and that, and my sister's there as well, and we're watching and telling, Champ's not going to do it. Next thing he comes on the side of the screen, like, bloody hell, Champ's going to do it.
It's actually different, actually being there watching the horse run. You're actually watching it on ITV Racing. It's like, you've got two horses there concentrating on. And all of a sudden, Richard Hoyles is just like, oh, there he goes.
But what was the key for Champ when we were doing the Cheltenham previews? Is all I was saying is he's screaming out for longer.
He did.
That proved it. That proved it on the day. So Shishkin.
Do you reckon Shishkin be target for the Queen Mother?
Queen Mother, yeah.
Yeah.
I'd like to
Yeah, I
think,
can see
I think
that,
so.
yeah.
I think so. But again,
But then you've got Altior though.
exactly.
Yeah.
Until I see a little bit more, it's difficult. And Nico obviously rode Shishkin. He's not going to get off. He's not going to get off Altior to ride Shishkin. Let's be honest. But we'll see where they go from that one.
Yeah, good matchup though, isn't it?
Exactly.
Interesting to see.
The other one I've gone for is your namesake.
Oh yes.
Glyn.
What a cracking name.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong, obviously we're part of Owners Group, so we're privy to a lot of information as well.
Yeah.
Again, I know it gets a lot of heat, but and most syndicates do. It's one of those things, it's a great thing to be involved in from my point of view, from any standpoint. Glyn, not a lot to go on, 1 for 1. I believe from what I've read from, the little booklets we get and stuff like that they might chance the arm of novice chasing, a nice novice chasing campaign, which would be good because it's a nice big scope in horse. Not a lot to go on, but from my point of view, Glyn and Shishkin are the other two. So
Just one more quick one. I haven't really got much points, but another one I'm looking forward to seeing this year is Flint the Sacro. The full brother to. I'm sure you're a massive fan of Flint the Sacro.
We'll get right up done.
Well, there's loads in it you can meet.
There's
Lost in Translation.
We could be here all day.
Another one, Froden, another one you enjoy.
So
there's loads we could talk about.
But we'll get a couple of write-ups done, so we'll get them on the site so the information's down and just
Well, I've got one to add as well then. A bit on the side, not just Kristen Davis train. She, again, another one of these horses that's come along, really didn't look anything massively spectacular. 8th in 2 points, which doesn't exactly scream ability. Then 8th and 4th at Cheltenham and Huntingdon on yielding this time. But again, nothing that really makes you think, this horse has got some potential. But somebody obviously saw something. Then was pulled up and had a 5th and a couple of novice hurdles. But then she had 158 days off track and was rested. But then something seems to have clicked. The penny seems to have dropped. Won a mare's novice hurdle at Market Raising by 14 lengths. Then followed that up with a win at Uttoxeter by 7 lengths over Nicky Henderson's Miss Farage, if that's how you pronounce it.
Miss Farage.
And looked really good again that day. And looked like it, this is what people have seen. To us people on the outside of the yard, thought, right, okay, now we understand. Went to Newton Abbot and was quite disappointing. I thought the actually was almost in the bag, to be honest, that day, given the 2 prior performances. Apparently she was sweating, didn't jump particularly well, jumped right occasionally that day. Maybe there was just something amiss that day. Maybe she just didn't fancy that day.
They're all entitled to an off day.
Yeah, of course they are.
Absolutely.
She stayed on. She stayed on well enough. But she just was never going to get there. Was never had enough left there or enough in the tank or whatever just to get there that day. So again, still a bit of an early days one. So you can't be too critical. Maybe
early in her career.
Yeah, exactly. Just a shame that, like, going back to what you were saying about Santini, when you see a horse with promise and it delivers a couple of times, when that opportunity comes up to rubber stamp it, you want to see him grab it.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
You want to see, like you say, that's what you wanted. That's what you want to see from Santini. You've seen him run. You've reserved judgment. When it comes to it, you thought, right now, I want you to prove to me I'm wrong and fulfil that potential, and that's what you want to see. And unfortunately, although it's still early in her career, that was the opportunity where it was another good race and an opportunity to really sort of go, people are right about me, and she just failed to do it that day. Like I say, hopefully it was an off day. Hopefully, as you say, Sean, it was just a bad day at the office.
Yes.
Exactly.
So, but maybe that's what it was.
Exactly.
So that's my extra one anyway. But as you say, it's loads we could talk about, like you say. We've got lists as long as there are, but we could different horses we could talk about.
Like we were saying, we'll get a couple of them on the site as well.
We try to not go mainstream. We try to give you a few that might be slightly under the radar somewhat.
One question I always wanted to ask is, obviously we talk about ones to watch for horses, but it's what jockeys. Obviously we know that obviously Barry Geraghty's just recently retired.
Yeah, of course. Barry this year.
Next year's Cheltenham Festival. First it was AP McCoy, then it was Ruby Walsh. Now it's Barry Geraghty. Barry Geraghty.
Paul Taylor.
Paul Townend.
So we've got some of the what I like the class as the old school jockeys who are now retiring and handing it over.
Well, the thing is on that point of view, if you look at it, it's more of it's a new beginning, isn't it? We went through a whole period where we relied on the likes of McCoy, Walsh, Geraghty. I'm sure it won't be long before the likes of David Russell, Richard Johnson. But on the plus side is you have got your likes of Sam Twiston-Davies, still young enough, Harry Cobden, George O'Neill Jr.,
Brian Hughes, Aidan Coleman.
Exactly. So yes, it will be an interesting one.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely.
I've always quite again he's sort of more earlier in his career than some. But I like Kieran Geffins as well. He's a good jockey.
Yeah, Kieran Geffins. He's very good.
I think it's great that there's quite an abundance of like what you might term decent jockeys out there, and
I mean, even on the flat, there's decent ones with.
Well, there is, of course,
with Tom Montquand and
exactly. But it's nice when they come through, and like as you say, Sean, it opens the scope. You know what I mean? You're not just looking at the card and going, oh well, there's like. You like some McCoy and stuff, and
walks
and stuff like that.
The new national one, like Ben Jones from Lavelle, and you've got now we're going to see like a few other apprentice or conditional jockeys coming through.
Next couple of weeks,
next
couple of weeks, it's very interesting from the jockey's booking point of view, and it'll be interesting to see.
Jack Quinlan started quite well.
Yeah,
he's had a few decent winners.
Please just chuck him out now.
And who's going to be riding the green and gold silks as well? You know, he might be just dotted about.
He might share it about,
it'll be such a big responsibility as well. I mean, you see, like Barry Geraghty on Champ, some of the big wins that he had. Whoever takes.
Well, they're going to be claiming to get the rides, aren't they? Because there's some cracking rides out there.
Oh yeah,
of course.
Decent, really good horses.
People are going to be sitting by their phone, eagerly waiting for that phone call, aren't they?
All their agents, I'm going to pay you so many money. I'm going to give me my agent fee.
They'll be there, red hot phones, bye, sell.
Exactly. You're not going to see quite a lot of Giggingstown.
Of course
they've gone, and Trevor Ebbings.
Styling back on.
There's all going back. So that's going to be a little bit different.
So we do like Trevor Ebbings, don't we? But fair play to the chap. He's not a young man anymore, and you can understand.
He's not a spring chicken.
No.
So,
but
so it'll be interesting this year. We've got a few new recruitments, a few new horses.
Yeah, absolutely.
New recruitments.
Talking about new recruitments. Small, minor, major announcement. Jamie's obviously been a friend of ours, and really since we've been doing it, one of the first people we kind of got to know when we got involved in in doing this and starting Money Rider. Jamie's been ever so kind, really, to us, and enabled us to get a little bit more deeply involved in the racing community as well, arranging stable visits and stuff. So it seemed only natural that we asked Jamie if he would like to be, become the newest member of Money Rider. Wealth of experience, obviously, around racing. Huge racing addict, I think it's fair to say. God knows how many books and paraphernalia. You couldn't get anyone more enthusiastic about the sport, whether that be national hunt or flat racing. So Jamie obviously had a bit more knowledge as well on that side of thing. Level up the two versus two argument on flat racing.
I like the sound of that.
So just a quick announcement to just let you know Jamie's going to be involved, and just get him involved in every way he wants to, really. You know what I mean?
Make this filming easier.
Filming easier.
Prior.
Hopefully you can have an input on the web, and when we get the new website up, which will be up very shortly, get some writing input and some blogs up there and stuff like that, and everybody likes to hear an opinion, so just another one to stick in the melting pot, really. So, that's it then, boys. That's the ones to watch. I cannot bloody wait. Obviously, it's been nice having National Hunt Racing back, but to have the National Hunt proper kind of thing.
Coming in.
And we have noticed one or two names, haven't we, on the cards recently? Just a few sort of putting their heads above the parapet, as they say. You know what I mean? And you're just starting to get really excited for it now. So I can't wait.
It's good season.
Different.
Yeah. But good.
For me, it's like I want to get back to it because it's a little bit more back to normal, if you know what I mean. God knows when we can go. That'll be another question. But that's the next thing. We just can't wait till we can go again. But yeah, just to be talking about it and writing about it and blogging about it and stuff like that. I can't wait. I miss it really. Do you know what I mean? Flipping images I've got on my computer of silks and stuff like that.
Ready to go.
Yeah, you know what I mean. I've just built it up over the years of doing it, and it seems a bit strange them just sort of sitting there doing nothing, you know, at the moment. So yeah, I can't wait. So,
that'd be good.
So anyway, so there we go. That's our ones to watch for the coming season. You may or may not agree with us. You may think he's completely wrong about Santini.
They tend to.
Some will. We don't want to say I'm not particularly sold.
Let us know.
Yeah, I'm not particularly sold. So, but yeah, you know, get involved. You know, have a chat with us on Twitter.
Just make sure you don't say anything negative about Willie Mullin.
I will.
But yeah, you know, get involved in Twitter and you know, and comment on the video and that, you know, stuff like that. And yeah, let us know. That's why we do it. We want people to be involved.
Definitely.
So yeah, there we go.
Yep.
All right, lads.
Yes.
Good.
And you know, hopefully we'll be back with another video. You know, looking forward. Obviously, as Mark said, difficult to know exactly what's going on and this, that, and the other. But we'll try. We'll try. Chepstow might be a bit too close now. It's only what
we hope by
next
ours
week,
next time we do a film.
but maybe we'll try and you know, maybe we'll try and get a few fancies whilst Chepstow's going up on Twitter and stuff like that. And yeah, hopefully we'll see you again for another video.
Indeed.
See you later.
See you later.